Strained peas. My life changed forever the day Mom brought the new baby home from the hospital. My little sister is no ordinary baby, if only she were. I sat on the front steps with Mrs. Morgan, waiting for Mom and Dad to bring the baby home. Mrs. Morgan had stayed with me and Dad while Mom was in the hospital. I thought about the new baby, Hannah, a little sister. Yuck. I sighed and tapped a stick against the brick steps. Stop fidgeting, Nicholas, Miss Morgan scolded. Why don't you read your comic book until your parents get home? I opened my Iron Man comic book and picked up where I'd left off. Iron Man has cornered a bad guy disguised as a kindly doctor. Unmask yourself, says Iron Man. Iron Man rips the mask off the doctor's head, revealing the hideous face of a mad scientist. Iron Man gasps. The mark of evil, he cries. Dr. Destro. Iron Man has never seen Dr. Destro before, but he recognizes the bad guy by the birthmark on his face, the mark of evil. I heard a car coming and glanced up. Dad's dark green Volvo chugged down the street and pulled into our driveway. Mom sat in the passenger seat, waving to me and smiling brightly. Miss Morgan gave me a little shove. Go on, she said. Go meet your new sister. I thought. I was glad to see Mom, though. I dragged myself over to the car. Dad opened the car door. Mom stepped out, carrying a little bundle in her arms. She bent down and said, Look, Nicholas, isn't she adorable? I looked at the crumpled red face in my mother's arms. A thin fuzz of dark hair covered her head. She had blue eyes and tiny, wet, red lips. No teeth. She waved a wrinkled fist in the air, then stuffed it into her mouth. I didn't think she was so adorable. I thought she was kind of ugly. But then I nearly choked on Hannah's cheek was a tiny brown heart-shaped birthmark. I pointed to the birthmark and gasped, the mark of evil, just like Dr. Destro. Cut it out, Nicholas, Dad said sternly. This is no time for your crazy comic book talk. He turned his back on me to gawk at Hannah. She's perfect, Dad said, giving Mom's shoulders a squeeze. How could he be so stupid? I picked up my comic book and pointed to the mark on Dr. Destro's face. Look, I cried. Hannah has a birthmark like Dr. Destro's. It's a sign of evil. Mom smiled vaguely at me. Don't be silly, she said. She carried the baby inside and the rest of us followed her. Soon Grandma and Grandpa came over, and Aunt Julie and Uncle Hal. They oohed and awed every time Hannah burped or hiccuped or cooed. It was disgusting. Look at that. She blew a bubble. She's a genius. Dory, darling, let me hold her for a few minutes, Grandma begged Mom. But Mom said, let Nicholas hold her. He's her big brother, after all. No, I said, backing away. That's okay. Oh, come on, Nick. You'll like it. Mom smiled and put Hannah in my arms. She showed me how to hold her. Hannah burped. Everyone laughed. As I held her, I thought she's sort of cute, I guess. Maybe I got a little carried away with that mark of evil stuff. After all, comic books don't come true, and Hannah's just a baby. But like I said, she was no ordinary baby. I swear I saw something glint in her dark blue eyes. That little heart-shaped birthmark on her cheek seemed to darken. Then Hannah opened her mouth wide and threw up all over me. Ugh, I cried. I was covered with milky white glop. Mom quickly took the baby. Hannah started crying. Poor little Hannah, Mom said. Poor little Hannah, I was the one she threw up on. And she did it on purpose. I knew she did. That night the howling began. A horrible sound woke me up, a loud screeching wail. I sat up in bed shaking. My eardrums rattled in my ears. What was that noise? I got out of bed to see what was going on. Mom was walking Hannah up and down the hallway, patting and shushing her, but Hannah didn't stop screaming. She sounded like some kind of wild animal in pain. Mom, what's wrong with her? I asked. Nothing, Mom replied. It's just a normal baby sound. Go back to sleep. I didn't get any sleep. Hannah never stopped crying. That's no normal baby sound, I thought. No one can tell me that terrifying screech is normal. Hannah's wailing continued, night after night. Each night was worse than the last. Wild screams that even the neighbors could hear. Monstrous screams when Hannah started crying. The neighborhood dogs threw their heads back and howled along with her. I could swear I saw her birthmark grow, just a little. A few months passed. Hannah learned to crawl early. Mom and Dad thought that meant she was smart. I knew better. She had a mission. She wanted to be an only child. She wanted to get rid of me. The crying didn't get rid of me. The puking didn't get rid of me. But Hannah had other tricks up her little terry cloth sleeve. One morning before school, I found Hannah in my room, chewing on something. She held a bit of paper in her hand. When she saw me coming, she tried to stuff it into her mouth. I snatched it away from her. Oh no, I cried, my math homework, or what was left of it, mostly just my name and the date covered with drool. Hannah had eaten my homework. She swallowed and smiled that evil smile. Ha ha, her smile seemed to say, gotcha. Mom, I called. Hannah ate my homework. Mom swooped in and picked up Hannah. What? Is she all right? Mom, what about my homework? Mom frowned at me as if she just realized what I was telling her. Nicholas, you didn't do your homework, did you? And now you're trying to blame it on Hannah. Mom, I'm telling the truth. Give Hannah an x-ray. You'll see my homework in her stomach. Mom shook her head. Nicholas, what's wrong with you lately? Later that day, when my teacher asked me where my math homework was, I told her my baby sister had eaten it. She kept me after school. That's what I got for telling the truth. Nicholas, get in here. I want to talk to you, Dad called. I was playing in the backyard when his voice boomed at me from an upstairs window. I found Dad in my parents' bedroom. At least I thought it was their room. It was where their room was supposed to be, only it didn't look much like their room anymore. Normally, my parents' room was white. I mean white. White rugs, white walls, white curtains, white bedspread. I wasn't allowed to play in there or eat or do anything. They were always worried about all that white stuff. The room wasn't white anymore. It was multicolored. Paint splashed everywhere. Nicholas, Dad said, "You're in big trouble. Huge trouble." Little jars of paint from my paint set littered the floor. Red, blue, green, yellow, and black paints were splashed all over the white rug, the white curtains, the white bedspread, the white walls, and in the middle of it all, splattered with blood-red paint, Hannah sat laughing her evil laugh. "You have 1 minute to give me an explanation for this, Nicholas," Dad said. "Go." "I didn't do it," I said. "Hannah did it." Dad laughed sarcastically. "Hannah did it? Hannah took your paint set, brought it all the way to our room, opened the jars, and splattered paint all over everything." "Yes," I said. "Nicholas, go to your room." "But Dad, I didn't do anything wrong." "Oh no, go to your room and think about it until you can see what you did wrong." "Dad, Hannah did it. She did it on purpose. To get me in trouble. You're playing right into her hands." Dad gave me his stony glare. He pointed to my room. I went. There's no fighting Dad's stony glare. She's a monster, I thought. She's really a monster. But she won't get away with this. I'll find a way to convince them somehow. I'm not leaving this family. She is. The next day when I came home from school, I heard terrible screams from the kitchen. I ran in. Hannah sat in her high chair, screaming with laughter. My mother stood beside her. "Mom," Hannah, the floor, the walls, all covered with green slime. Green slime oozed out of the corner of Hannah's mouth. Hannah had spewed green slime everywhere. "She's a monster," I shouted. "This is proof." Mom ignored me. "Hannah, you naughty girl," she said. "Stained peas all over the kitchen." Hannah banged her spoon on her high chair tray. More green stuff splattered on the wall. All right, it wasn't exactly green slime, but it was close enough. Strained peas. "They're green, and they're slimy," Mom said. "Nicholas, get a sponge and help me clean this up." "Why do I have to clean it? She made the mess." "Nicholas, I'm tired. Just help me out, please." I stared at Hannah's pea-covered face. Something was different. Her eyes were brown. "Mom," I cried, "Hannah's eyes changed colors. I told you she had evil powers." Mom just laughed. "Most babies are born with blue eyes," she explained. "Sometimes their eyes change after a few." "Mom, that's impossible. People's eyes don't change color." "Yes, they do, Nicholas. Some babies." I grabbed her by the arms and tried to shake some sense into her. "Mom, you're losing it. Hannah's brainwashing you. She's trying to get rid of me. We've got to send her back before it's too late." "Nicholas, that's enough. You've been jealous of Hannah from the beginning. It's time for you to get over all of this and start acting a little more mature." I felt like tearing my hair out. Why wouldn't my parents believe me? How could I get them to see what Hannah was doing? Mom started cleaning the strained peas from Hannah's face. The birthmark seemed to glow like a tiny spark. The worst was still to come. I was sitting in the den watching TV, minding my own business, and then I heard a creeping sound. Creep, 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 the sound of little knees scraping against the rug. "Oh no," I thought. "Here she comes." I turned around to look. Hannah was crawling toward me, clutching a pair of scissors in her tiny fists. She crawled closer, that evil gleam in her eye, the birthmark pulsing on her face. She was going to stab me. "No," I yelled. I backed away. She kept crawling toward me, the scissors gleaming. This is it, I thought. My baby sister is going to kill me. "Nicholas," my mom stood in the doorway. Then she ran to Hannah and snatched the scissors away from her. "Thanks, Mom. You saved my life," I cried. "How could you do this?" Mom said. "How could you let Hannah carry around such a sharp object? She could have been seriously hurt." "She could have been hurt, Mom. She was going to kill me." "Nicholas, this is ridiculous." "Mom, she's trying to get rid of me. She wants to be an only child." "I think that's what you want, Nicholas," Mom said. "I think we need to have a long, long talk." "I'm not making this up, Mom. Why won't you believe me? You always trusted me before until Hannah came along." Phone rang. Mom picked up Hannah and stormed off to the kitchen to answer it. A few minutes later, I heard Mom cry out, "Oh, no, I don't believe it." I hurried to the kitchen to see what was wrong. Mom was crying. She said, "All right, Dr. Davis, we'll be there this afternoon." She hung up the phone and cried some more. She gripped the wall as if she thought she'd faint. Then she stopped crying and stared at Hannah with a new weird look on her face, a look of horror. At last, I thought, she believes me. The doctor must have called to warn us that Hannah is a monster. "That was the hospital," Mom said in a slow, hoarse voice. They said that Hannah's a monster?" I finished for her. Mom turned sharply to me. Nicholas, stop it. She scooped Hannah up and hugged her tightly, crying. I can't believe it, she said. I love her so much, but she's not really our baby. What? I was afraid I hadn't heard her right. It seemed too good to be true. Had Mom just said Hannah was not really our baby? Our real baby and Hannah were switched at birth, Mom said through her tears. Hannah is someone else's child. Hannah wasn't my sister at all. Her real parents were probably monsters, too. It explained everything. Yipe, I shouted. I was free. Free from Hannah's evil. Everything would be okay now. We'd get my real baby sister, and she'd be cute and normal like other babies. She wouldn't try to get rid of me. She wouldn't be a monster. Mom started crying harder than ever. She carried Hannah upstairs to her room and shut the door. Felt a little bit sorry. Mom was really upset. I knew Dad would be, too. But they'd be happier when we get our real baby, I thought, and so will I. Dad came home from work early. We bundled Hannah up and took her to the hospital. A nurse introduced us to a woman who held a baby Hannah's age. Hannah's real mother. She had a tiny heart-shaped birthmark on her cheek, just like Hannah's. Monster, Mom, I thought, even though she didn't look like a monster at all. The nurse gave my mother the new baby. It seemed weird to call the new baby Hannah, so Mom decided to name her Grace. When we got home, the first thing I did was check Gracie for birthmarks. She was clean, no birthmarks anywhere. She was a sweet baby, blonde, blue-eyed, smiling, and rosy-cheeked. She looked like an angel. She smiled and cooed at me. I watched Gracie carefully the first day just to be sure. She didn't cry like an animal. She didn't spew peas or try to stab me. She did nothing but gurgle and coo. By the end of the day, I thought she's normal. She's not a monster. She's not out to get me. She's even cute. Everything is going to be okay now. Mom put Gracie to bed. I sneaked into her room to play with her for a few minutes. I tickled her. She giggled. I tickled her again. This time she didn't giggle so much, so I tickled her one more time. She opened her mouth and croaked, If you tickle me again, kid, I'll rip your arm off. Her eyes bulged as she uttered a deep growl. Ugh, I wailed. A monster! I ran from the room, screaming my head off, and as I was leaving, I heard the baby cackle. I'll get rid of you, creep. Just wait till I can walk.